So you're more of a big picture guy than a kind of getting consumed in the details, maybe?
I think in certain things, yeah. I mean, like I said, there's certain things I put weight on. Like I do make a point of like names and stuff, but that's also really easy for me. But I don't know. With Toro, he just seems a lot more introverted, and I get that to an extent. You know, I don't think he's obsessing over his every little action and his own mood swings. You know, like I don't think he is purposely trying to upset his wife or upset anybody, but I think he's just trying to live the best he knows how and kind of follow whatever has been ingrained in him. So I don't know. But I do identify with him a lot, and I identify. I've read like one other Murakami book, which is Sputnik Sweetheart, and again, the protagonist is a lot like that. And I don't know, they're a lot more believable. I kind of like their blasé personality. I kind of like the fact that they're not extremely overpowering in the text. I like the fact that it's a lot more about the quote unquote supporting characters in his work. Because I think that's kind of how life is. Everybody kind of feels that they're pretty fucking boring. You know, you've got some people. I mean, everybody's got the ego, and some people it's fairly overpowering, and they're kind of like, fuck yeah, I rock. But a lot of people, you feel like you're boring, and most of what you think is insignificant. You know, it doesn't really have that big of an effect on the big picture, and it really is what you interpret of other people. The grass is always greener. Everybody else looks like they're having so much fucking fun compared to what you're doing. You know, you think that guy's college experience was better. You think that chick's time in high school was better spent, but it usually never is. So I mean, everything's exciting to us, I think, on the external, and then internally you're so used to yourself that you're sick of yourself. You know, and you're always there, and your thoughts are always banging around in your head, and so I don't know. I think it kind of maybe fits in with that. I don't know if other people have gotten that, but that's kind of how bullshitting on this camera. That's kind of what I came to, is that you feel that you're boring. You don't recognize the things that happen in your own life. So
all of this is changing, of course, right, with the SOS.
Oh yeah, let me tell you, this is definitely like the anime and the manga. We're just rupturing reality. I don't know. It's nice. A lot of people have mentioned that it's kind of an excuse to do things. You know, it's like, it's not. This wasn't mentioned at the interview. I kind of wanted to say it, but I don't want to really get boisterous.
Say it.
But SOS, a lot of people, not necessarily at that interview, but people try to act like it's more than it is sometimes, and it really, it's not really allowing you to do something you couldn't have done before it. It is behaving as an enabling agent, but as people keep saying, it is what you put into it, and it's really not going to make that big of a difference unless you let it. I guess it's as Will put it, it's a loose framework of people that just decide to do shit. Sometimes you see something on YouTube, God bless YouTube, you see something on TV, whatever form of media you like, and it's kind of like, hey, let's try that. So it doesn't make that big of a difference in the scheme of things, but I think what it does do for the people involved with it will be important, and I think that's kind of life in general. Everything is based on your perspective. So my perspective dominates all of yours, and for all I know, none of you fucking exist. So
sounds like a fucking solipsist.
It's true though. It's like, this is all based on my perspective. So you can say what you want, but I'll just keep thinking what I want to. So.
Well, let's get Michelle's perspective. Yeah. You mentioned earlier how you identify with Kumiko earlier in the book. But as you find out later about her life and her temperament, different aspects of her personality, you said much less so. In what sense you're different from Kumiko?
Well, I'm only about midway through the book, I'd say. But so far, we've gotten to the point where she's just up and left. Toru, no, fuck you, motherfucker, just vanished, essentially. And and this is kind of where it comes back to closure with me, and I've seen this similar type of thing happen in relationships of mine, but or friendship and otherwise, but people just stop talking to you, and it leaves me unsettled, that door is still open, that has not been, that part of my life has not been finished yet. And I think her actions with regarding Toru and their marriage and just up and leaving him, I completely disagree with that. I think that people need to be upfront with their feelings and their emotions, and they need to confront them, because a lot of times we hide behind, we hide within ourselves, and I think that in a perfect world, if me and her were truly similar, she would have confronted Toru and been like, this isn't working, I'm seeing somebody else, but I have to leave, And I think that's where we differ. I value that that communication and that openness between people, I think, more than she does.
So you prefer, even at the risk of a big blow up, a confrontation and a fight, rather than kind of dissipation, not really sure what happened to a relationship?
Right, because in a way, I think it's better for us in the end. It leaves us without so many what ifs, So, at least for me personally, I would prefer that kind of outcome.
And yet life is so full of what ifs, and we have to deal with those too, huh?
This is true.
Thank you. Michelle Johnson, Steve Lynch, best essayist.